Church of Lies, only to discover they didn't actually want me to perform any ceremony at all, but just give a speech. So afterwards, if anyone does want to get married, I'm looking at Lewis particularly.
Anyone?
I'll be taking bookings and all sorts of things afterwards. Sort of in preparation for this moment, I asked Dale and Megan to kind of prepare some information. I didn't quite expect quite so much, but that's all right. I think I wanted to just kind of get a moment to celebrate their history, celebrate this incredible place we're at, and this particular moment in time. And I wanted to kind of get a bit of background.
He did this at the registry office as well. We shut him up.
I want to get a bit of background. I want everybody to understand their story, where they've come from and where they've gotten here. But before I go on, Dale and Megan wanted me to thank everybody. I think that so many people have made the effort and the trip and traveled so far. It just means so much to them that they really wanted everybody to know that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so their story, as told by me. So Dale and Megan met in August of 2010 at a hostel for homeless young people.
I wasn't there.
Now Dale was only working 12 hours a week at that point at another job. And Megan was deputy manager of the hostel at the time and part of the interview panel.
So she was his boss?
Well, not yet. Give it a moment. Let it come. Dale tells me that the moment he walked in, he saw Megan and could not help but think how incredibly beautiful she was. I believe that Dale, knowing just how easily distracted he is, knew from that very moment that this was going to be a difficult interview. Of course, he didn't realize he was actually interviewing for the position of husband as well, which, makes things even more tricky, I think. As it turns out, Dale was right. He was the lowest scoring of the three candidates.
Go Dale!
So that's either down to Dale or Megan's beauty, one or the other. We'll go with Megan's beauty. When I asked Megan about that interview, she also said she was attracted to Dale from the moment he walked in. With a traditional t-shirt and trusty rucksack. Although I think she described it more as a man with potential as opposed to love at first sight. Still, she says she spent the whole time staring at his arms instead of listening to anything he had to say.
Nothing's changed.
Which may explain why later she found herself and her professionalism at risk when she found herself I guess it was arguing for the lowest scoring candidate. It's probably the best way to say.
Yay! Go Dale!
So thanks to Megan's abuse of her power, and her powers of persuasion, Dale started work a month later. Now, if I can turn the page, Dale almost immediately started work on the night shift, and as luck would have it, each morning he ended up handing the keys over to Megan. It quickly became apparent for the two that they got on very well, with two equally twisted senses of humor, and bonded over an almost complete lack of political correctness. Megan's favorite part of the day became the morning handover from Dale, where the two found themselves having a good laugh over the incidents that had happened with and to all the residents. Her heart sank a little bit every day when she watched Dale crawl through the boot of his car to drive home. I think it comes to no surprise to any of us that Dale's car doors did not open.
The Bratmobile.
Well, this, of course, led to the crappiest car competition. On one side, we have Dale's R-Reg Ford Escort, whose doors didn't open, and the other was Megan's L-Reg Mini Metro that had exhaust issues. Apparently, Dale won the fierce competition after failing to put any antifreeze in the car over the winter.
Yay! Go Dale!
So Dale says he first suspected it was love with Megan when she did an impression of someone with a hunchback who attended an interview.
Good impression.
His love was confirmed when he watched her polish off a huge Christmas meal followed by 3 desserts. I guess it's different love for everyone. Unfortunately for Dale, while he really wanted to ask Megan out, she was his deputy manager, and I think he, surprisingly all of us, has some sort of ethics. And our story could really have ended there, a tragic story of unrequited love. However, After 6 months of what he describes as sheer torture,
Yeah.
Dale discovered that Megan had stepped down as deputy manager, and I have it on good authority that it was either that or she was going to kill her boss. Okay, good. Seizing the opportunity, but in need of a healthy dose of courage, Dale grabbed a copy of the annual report, which featured, I'm sure, a fetching picture of Megan, and arranged a meet-up with his best friend and best man, Lewis.
Oh no.
Can you take this? It's free. If anybody wants.
Now Dale, apparently in a moment of self-doubt, asked if Megan was out of his league. I'm sure the reply was, no way.
Something like that.
Just what he needed, of
Yeah.
course. So after 2 hours of staring at his phone, and I imagine if it was with Lewis in the same room, it was probably 10 pints as well, Dale finally made his move, texting Megan to ask her out for a Sunday lunch. Quite the romantic meal there. Oh, yeah.
2 for 1.
I think,
Always careful.
Megan's reply of, I think you've sent this to the wrong person. was not exactly the response he
She
hoped for.
done his name.
Was that a nice way of saying get lost? Or just... Still our man persevered, eventually wearing her down, and they went to their first date. Lunch at the Braggett in Leicester.
Bradgate.
Bradgate?
Bradgate.
All right, I'm not from Leicester, I apologize. Tim. I'm at the Bradgate in Leicester. For Dale, this first date went perfectly. Sadly, Megan didn't even realize it was a first date. In spite of all this, Dale managed to convince Megan to go out with him again, and seeing signs that Megan was actually interested, hoped that it was simply a matter of perseverance. Dale's confidence was such that he decided he would make his first move at the next date, a fireworks display. It was here, while watching the fireworks, and what can be only described as a smooth and romantic move, Dale, behind Megan, kissed her on the back of the head. While Dale not only watched the fireworks but felt them inside, Megan was freaking out with the realization she was actually on a date. So after the display, Dale had big plans for the first proper kiss, one involving possibly less hair in the back. Much to his surprise, his plans were thwarted by Megan's 101 reasons why all relationships are doomed and why she would never ever enter into another one. Dale tells me that it was this point he realized he was potentially very poor at reading women and their signs. I think, mate, you've just got 10 years of marriage. So I have no idea how the conversation progressed, but Megan agreed to friend date with Dale, on the proviso that he should not expect anything to go further, ever. And so it was in October of 2011, they officially started friend dating.
Friendly.
Can someone explain to me what friend dating is? Is this a Leicester thing? Is that okay, well, still unabashed, knowing Megan's love for travel and new places, Dale went out to impress and took her on 2 trips, 2 day trips. First to Coventry, and then to the ever exotic Nottingham. Actually, to be fair, I think I'm understanding the friend dating thing a lot more. At the end of the first day of the friend day to Nottingham, Dale decided to prove his manly side and found a shortcut back through the train station, only to find he discovered and agitated a rat's nest. Megan says that Dale's impression of the Highland fling and his rush to escape tickled her hugely, and although she felt more manly than he seemed, she did find herself warming to the thought of having him around as a boyfriend. Eventually, on the 10th of February 2012, having patiently waited for Dale to make another move,
Yeah, good luck with
Megan
that.
texted Dale to say, in a very long-winded way, that she had a girly crush on him. And so the next day they met for coffee to discuss things further. Dale remembers Megan beginning by saying that they should list all the things they don't like in a partner and to check whether they were compatible even at the remote sort of way at all. And then she said, let me begin. 5 minutes later, Megan was still reeling things off. Warned and unperturbed, Dale officially entered into a non-friend relationship with Megan and was plotting their first kiss. When Megan announced, so are you going to kiss me or what? Shortly after, Megan left for one of her sort of truly deserved, girly holidays, and upon her return, they moved into Dale's childhood home, where Dale quickly told Megan that he knew he was going to marry her, and Megan, the ever-romantic, responded, "Don't freak me out." Now, I'm sure there must be a part of the story missing here, as it seems like they went from friend dating to living together almost overnight. But regardless, things progressed quickly from there. With a fair bit of back and forth between Dale and my father, who happens to own a jewelry store in the States, and unfortunately couldn't be here today, a beautiful emerald ring, diamond cut ring, emerald diamond cut ring.
There you go.
Yeah, beautifully, you know, you see it was made especially for Megan, and illegally shipped over to the States in a bundle of childhood clothes for my children. We didn't tell Dale that, by the way. With ring in hand and wanting to keep some of the traditions of marriage, Dale decided that it was important that he ask John for Megan's hand in marriage, and he headed over to ask permission. So Dale admitted to me that eventually he did succeed in asking John for permission in November, but he'd been trying to work up the courage ever since when he took John out for his birthday in September. And he'd intended to ask her while Megan and Deanna were in America. Finally, permission granted with ring in hand, and a year after Dale's bonfire night head kiss, Dale nailed a surprise proposal, timed for the first firework. The night was perfect, the proposal accepted, and it made no difference at all that Megan had suspected for weeks. So they continued to practice the art of living together for several months, combining Megan's OCD and Dale's laid-back approach to life.
Horizontal.
They eventually purchased their first house and began renovations on what affectionately was then known as the Pit. After lots of weekends, an awful lot of help and hard work from Megan's mom and dad, they eventually moved into their beautiful home. It was soon after that they became the family of 3. With the arrival of Munchkin the cat. House renovations eventually gave way to wedding preparations, and their trip to Italy was planned. Dale and Megan officially became the Bramleys on the 14th of August, a date picked to coincide with Megan's Grammy's birthday. They had a lovely day, and we're very glad that their friends and family who were unable to join us here today were able to share that day with them. And that's basically their story, to date. But we all know that the very best thing about a wedding is that just because the story... hold on, let me try that again. That's also the very best thing about a wedding, because as everyone knows, the story leading up to the wedding is just really the very beginning. You two have the rest of your lives to write your story. I can't promise that it will always be fun or easy, but it will be yours, it will be worth it, and with a bit of work, it will be amazing. So, if I can call my son up with some rings. Make this official?
You turn it around.
One.
Got chubby fingers.
Right. So before I sit down, I always want to ask everyone to stand up. Raise a glass if you can, if there's anything in it. We'll just wait. And join me in a toast and a cheers to the newlyweds.
Hey! Mrs. Bramley.
Right. And now, Megan, is your mom? Deanna? Have you got a poem? Excellent.
Is that really
All right.
your glass or what?
Some of you have to suffer.
Where's my wine gone? It wasn't mine either. I was tempted though.
Okay,
You're going to get in it too.
Megan says shout. Okay, this is the Rome poem.
Oh, listen.
Megan Lavelle is a lovely girl, I think you'll all agree. She met Dale, who told a tale how he was single and free. For most of his life, he'd no need for a wife, and she never wanted a husband. Imagine the surprise when then there were cries of we're going to get engaged. Megan married Dale Bramley, and now they're a family, and happy as happy could be. That's why we are here with all who are dear, and have travelled such a long way, to this place of the vine, where we drink and we dine, and share in this special day. Before they go home, they travel to Rome and various places of beauty. And now, maybe again, but for now, raise your glass to the lad and the lass who made possible this pleasurable duty. Here we go. Congratulazioni agli sposi. I nostri migliori auguri e tanta serenità.
Bravissimo, bravissimo!
Which in English is, to the bride and groom on their happy union, wishing the both of you all the happiness in the world.